Den är på. Hi, welcome to this first and maybe last, who knows, screencast of Salt. My name is Marcus.
And my name is Mies.
And we're here because we have a very special task today. We're about to install a whole bunch of computers, and I want to show you here. Please be careful. All of these
and more
that are coming will be the new class of Winter 19, their developer computers. And in order to do so, we have tried to streamline the process a bit.
Yes, Marcus wrote a script.
Yeah, and I stole it actually, so he will, but we'll get there. And we want to walk you through how we're doing the installation. And so the computer that you have now, what state is it in?
It's in the out-of-the-box state.
Yes.
And this is going to be Alex H's computer.
Whoever he is.
Whoever he is.
Let's do that. And while you do that, the first things we are doing, there's no need for me to show this. This is us basically just setting up the location, getting online, and doing some very rudimentary installation things.
Yes.
We thought that we will walk you through the installation of one of these computers, and then we'll see if there's anything else that we need to talk about there. We are working for SALT, School of Applied Technology. What is SALT?
It's accelerated learning, 12-week boot camp to become a professional full-stack JavaScript developer.
Yeah, that is at least our first course. So the files that we are doing now today here is all about full-stack JavaScript development. So you will see a lot of things that are related to that we will show you later. So as Mies said, this is a boot camp. And you actually been in the first bootcamp.
Yes, I'm from batch 1.
Yeah, so this is how good they get, right? So and the interesting part is that Mies will now follow on into the next bootcamp. So this is a nice little exercise for us.
Yes.
So you're now at the stage where you need some information, and I have it here. So it's this guy. Let's not mention his name out loud, I think. And I called him just Alex H. Yes, perfect. And then we have the well-known, everyone has the same passwords from the beginning to make our lives a little bit easier. And finally, once we have got past this stage, we are about to run a script. So since we are in a school, we can do a lot of simplifications for our lives. So you don't know this, but we had long discussions about what kind of computers they are allowed to have and all of these things. But we have made it super easy, so everyone are running exactly the same kind of computer. It's a MacBook Pro 15-inch.
13-inch.
13-inch, yes, good, thank you. 15 is much bigger than you actually think. And just wait there. Let's let the people be with us. And then we have decided a whole lot of things about what you can use for what kind of tools you can use and everything like that. We are now in a nice position. So let me see if I can hold this steady enough to show the screen here. Yes, there we go. So this is now a clean slated computer. So what I want you to do is to head on to GitHub, where we have the script. So you go GitHub /Salt Stockholm /Salt-JSFS for JavaScript full stack, and then Dotfiles. I'm getting really nervous holding this computer now.
I got nervous typing.
Oh yeah, no need to be nervous. It's just we are among friends. And then if you scroll down a bit there, you have above the list of names there, you have a command. And this command will actually be running the whole installation script. So once if you kick that off, then we can just type that in here. And this will start, first of all, so I'm thinking that maybe it's easier for us to walk this through, but let's see how it works. First of all, it will run installation of Homebrew, which is a delivery mechanism for Macintosh. And if you look very closely down at the end there, can you see that? The Xcode command line tools will be installed. This is very nifty. I was so happy when this happened, because in order to use all of these installations, we need a few command line tools like Git and Ruby. And by installing Homebrew, we will actually install these as part of the Homebrew installation. So that's what it's doing now. And then now you can see that it's downloading command line tools for Mac OS Sierra. So what I think we'll do now actually is to quit this and then switch over to my screen. So we'll be with you in a very awkward cut here. So Mies, I thought we'll walk through the whole directory here with all things that we are installing. But this is the script that we were running before. And this first line here on line 1, it actually installs Homebrew. And as I said, by doing that, it will actually install a few other things as well, such as Git. And I think, no, not Ruby, but it will probably update Ruby.
Yeah. But just to clarify, Homebrew is what makes the whole thing possible.
Yes, exactly.
So it gives you access to, or it makes it available to you to install applications from your terminal.
Exactly, and it's like the preferred way of installing applications and utilities on the Mac OS. So that's good. The line 3 shows us that we are making a clone. We're git cloning, making a copy to our local directory of this particular repository, and we place it here in the tilde/dot files. Oh, that was hard to say.
Maybe we should clarify that you don't have to know how to do this.
No, exactly. Not at the start of the course, but after a while you will absolutely know. Now, this is an automated thing, but basically it just copies down the files. For this purpose, we can understand it as it copying down the files.
Yes.
And after that, we run a script called the bootstrap script, which will actually go through all of the things that we want to install, and we're going to take a look at that in just a second. I just want to mention the last line 6 here. It makes an installation of a nice little addition to your shell called Oh My Shush, which is a lot of interesting additions and beautiful small shortcuts that you can use. So that's what this is all about. So let's go back all the way up and we'll take a look at what is being delivered here. As you see, there's a lot of directories here which has configurations for all the things that we want to install. But for me, I think it's enough that we go through this thing called the brew file. And the brew file contains all of the things that we want to have installed here. It's pretty simple, as you can see. It just says brew, which basically tells Homebrew to install whatever name this is.
Yes.
There's also something down here. Do you know the difference between brew and cask?
I do know the difference.
Because we just looked it up.
Yeah. I asked the question earlier today why some of them said brew and some of them said cask. And brew are for, or when you write brew, that's for an application that doesn't have a graphical interface. So let's say you're installing Node. You can't really open Node the app and browse the app. It's just something that's happening back end.
Yeah.
However, Docker or Firefox or Google Chrome are applications with a graphical interface.
Yep.
So that's why you have to use Cask for graphical interface applications and Brew for terminal apps.
Exactly. So that's how
terminal apps. I don't feel like that's the right.
No, I don't want to use one of those. That sounds dangerous. Actually, it's a little bit strange also because some of these have a UI, but it's used in the terminal. So I presume terminal app is a nice way of putting it in that way. So let's walk through this because there's. Let's start with the UI stuff. So first of all, here it's in alphabetical order, so there's no priority here. But the first thing that we install here is something called Docker. Docker was something that we introduced pretty late in the course. Do you care to take a stab on describing what it is?
Not really. I mean, it's
a bit funky, actually.
It's kind of complicated.
Yeah. So the easiest way for me is to think about it as a way to virtualize a computer.
So that you would run the app through Docker to make sure that it would run the exact same everywhere.
Yeah, so you basically make a file called an image, which contains all the things that your application needs to run, as well as your application. And then you can send that file to someone that can run it, for example, Google or Amazon. Here's some fonts that this is a beautiful font, Fira code. Did you ever use that?
No,
oh,
not sure. I didn't know we have it.
It's amazing. Let me see.
Why is there a font in the graphical interface?
Yeah, I don't know, but see here. Here's my. I'm using it even in the terminal, so that's a nice little addition to make a more beautiful arrow. If you do that. Nice. And if you do 2 equals, it looks like that, and 3 equals look like that. And then you have something like this, which is nice as well. So there's all kinds of handy stuff. Some of them are really hard to see. But yeah, so there's some. It's just beautiful. I like Fira code. Fork is a way for you to fork applications, fork repositories.
That's copying.
Yes,
yeah.
Basically. Firefox is a browser, and we're using that to automate some stuff. Google Chrome is another browser.
We're also using, when we test applications, it's important to try both Firefox and Google Chrome, because there are some pretty big differences.
Indeed. And I remember fondly the first day of your course, I hope that you forgot about that, but all of you stumbled on me not installing Firefox. So there you go. pgadmin 4, that was strange. You know what that is?
No idea.
This is a Postgres administration tool. I think it's almost unnecessary to install it actually, because it is included in. I think we ran it from Docker in your course. So, but you have it locally as well. Postman.
Postman.
You love that?
I love Postman.
What is it?
Postman allows you to test APIs and test your own APIs to see what the responses you're getting from stuff, and it's really, really useful when you're building your own API.
It is an awesome tool. I actually didn't know about it being a standalone application because it was an add-in to Chrome before. So there we go. Robot 3T, remember that one?
Oh, I remember the name. I can't remember what it was. Oh, isn't it?
It's a MongoDB.
Yeah,
so it's another database administration tool for MongoDB, which so Postgres that we had up here. It's a relational database, and this is a document-oriented database. Very nice tool as well. Slack. Yeah, Slack. Everyone knows Slack nowadays.
The best messaging application for businesses. I think.
And it's crucial to get through this course because we do most of the communication through that.
Yeah.
Spectacle is a nice little tool to be able to do stuff like this. You can move windows around and you can make it full screen really easily. I love that. Transmission, to be honest, I don't know what that is.
What is that?
Let's see if I have it. Transmission. Yeah.
Welcome to Transmission.
File sharing program. Okay, you have a file sharing program on. So
the
reason I don't know what this is about is that I actually stole it from a man called Zach Holman. And we'll put the link in the show notes later, I think. But Zach, this is a very nice little introduction to what this Dotfiles thing is all about. And finally, Visual Studio Code, which is your editor where you will work with all the code. And you actually tipped me off of taking out Sublime from this, not because Sublime is bad in any way, but it's just like we don't want you to, we want you to have few choices to be able to get through this course and focus on the things up here. And quickly, we don't need to go through all of these, but there's a zip util in here. Curl is a nice little program to be able to call into a URL from your from the terminal.
It's a terminal-based Postman, pretty much.
Yes, that's well put. Here's interesting. We're installing Docker here as well, and my thinking is that this Docker down here in the Cask here is the Docker UI, and this is the Docker daemon that's running in the background. Heroku is really useful. It's a way to put your applications online
for free.
For free, it's amazing. You need to type a password there, my friend. Then we have MongoDB, as we said, so you have the database, and Node. We are basically coding everything we're doing here in Node. So that's a key thing to have on. NVM is a nice little tool. Did you ever use that? Did we tip you off on that one?
I can't remember now.
It's
NVM.
a tool. It's a tool that we have used in order for you to have more than one version of Node on your computer. So that's pretty cool. You can switch between versions. Let me show you here. If I do this, NVM ls. So here I have a whole bunch of nodes. So now if I'm using an older, I can just say NVM. If I'm developing code that is written for an older version of Node, I can just go version 8.2.1. And now Node is not flipping over.
NVM is not compatible with the npm config prefix.
Okay, sorry, I've done some stupid things here. Let's see if I can do that, just to take that out. Go back, use NVM Node. Yes, and now when we ask Node, it's actually using another version of Node. NVM use Node, meaning that we're taking the latest version of Node. And you can easily download Node as well. So if I NVM install Node and they have updated, it will actually update a new version of Node. See, I now went from 10.11 to 11.4. And this goes really fast comparing to installing it through their website. And once we're done, it will switch over to that node, I hope. Check sums matched, thank you so much. And now if we go node, that we're using 11.4. New version of Node.
So are there any reasons why it would be better to install all your applications through Brew than just manually downloading them?
Oh yeah, there are many. So first of all, let me get to that actually in a while. But I just want to go through all these. Let's see if there's anything else here that you need to know. This is a diff tool, Spaceman diff. That's pretty useful. Yarn. We're installing Yarn here, and Yarn is actually a tool to deliver Node packages. So there's a tool in Node called npm, and there's a clone of that called Yarn.
Made by Facebook.
Yes, exactly. Actually, you will meet this tool when we start to talk about React, but you can use it whenever. So, good question, my friend. Why do go through all of this hassle? Well, for me, the kicker is, first of all, this is, as you see, this is my own. No, this is not my own, but this is the JS dot files that we have. But I can make a copy out of it, make a fork, and start to modify it to my content. So first of all, for us in this particular setting, it's very useful to have files to do the script rather than to do it by hand, because there's so many computers that need to be installed, and we are now just kicking off a script. How's that doing, by the way?
It is
still running. Yeah,
it's downloading.
So
currently downloading iTunes and Safari for some reason.
Yeah,
maybe that's.
I don't know. it needs some kind of updates. Probably.
Yeah, probably.
So, but at this point in time, and it's taken about 10 minutes or
40,
so.
It says here 40 brew file dependencies are now installed.
Yeah, so we have now actually installed all of those things without touching it. It's pretty amazing. But the real cool thing here is that I can keep my computer updated with a single command. Just go dot, and it will go through all the brew files that we have in the brew file that we have in our application, and it will look for all the updated formulas, all the taken away formulas, and it will just run through all of this and make sure that I have the latest and greatest of everything. In this case, you might see other
63 brew file dependencies now installed.
Yeah, that is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, when you come to a new assignment, the first thing I do is to bring down the dot files. Then I go run the bootstrap command, go for a coffee. When I come back, the computer is configured as I want it.
Yeah.
So it has all my apps, it has all my configuration in there.
Yeah.
So everything is like set up just for me to go. So it's getting from 0 to hero in 40 minutes straight. In this case, you might see some apps that we didn't mention, and that's because these are my personal installations.
Yeah, you're installing Spotify.
Yeah, I do that. We don't install Spotify on your computers. And this is interesting in itself. Microsoft Office, well, how can I install that without being a pirate? Well, I can install it, but I need a key to start some of the applications. So that's how that works, right? So let's do this. I think we'll switch off this installation because I think we're through this now, all of it. Yeah, maybe we could say something about, for each of the configurations that we have in here, in the brew file, let's talk about that. So for example, for the Docker thing here, there is a folder here as well where you can have additional installations, additional configurations. Over here, for example, they're setting up some aliases. So here...
So an alias is a shorter version of, or a version that a name that you pick for your own command in the terminal.
Yes.
So you would maybe take a line that you would usually type and it would be really long, and just put that as an alias to something that's really easy to remember. So that, yeah.
Here's one, for example, kill all containers. I never remembered. I think I've Googled this string maybe 50 times. So now I need to remember docker kill all, and it will actually run this command. And here's another thing that so if you want to tweak this, if you go into functions here, you can put all kinds of stuff in here. Here's two that I've added myself. The first one is called mcd. So it makes a directory, and then it cds into that directory like this. Mcd, because if I do make dir temp, then the first thing I need to do is cd temp, right? But that's very cumbersome, so I want to do mcd temp, and now we're in the temp directory. Pretty useful. And another one that I didn't even tell you about, Mies, is this one, web. I love this. This is open a web server in the directory where we are at. So if I do web dot, we now have a web server on port 8000 here. I have no idea how this will look. Which means that we can actually navigate this as if it was a website. So it's a really nice way to test out, for example, HTML or CSS stuff that you're labbing with. Okay, let's close that off, and let's. I think we're about done here. So let's switch this off and see if we'll head back here later. Okay, we're back. Our beautiful faces, finally. It's actually done on the other computer, and we have not, just to make sure that everyone think that we're cheated. While we were talking, that was the installation time, and that was like 14 minutes straight, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So if I now take this again, sorry about this. Very sorry about that, actually. So here's the screen with where we run all the commands. So if you scroll all the way up to the top there, you can actually see the command, and then it ran all of these installations. First it did the command.
So here's the command.
Yeah, that's the installation command. It's really hard to see. But scrolling down, you can see that it installed Xcode here. So that's something that is a little bit messy to do by yourself. Then it did a whole lot of things around Homebrew. Homebrew is just a Git repository, as I understand it. And then we come down here and we set up Git, so scroll past that, and we did all of these installations with Brew. These are straight out of the Brew file, as we showed you. So you will recognize many of these, and it just went on and on and on, and then it did install the software update here. And finally we're here, and you need to hit the password thingy there. Once again, there we go, and that's all done. And now the final thing it does is to install Oh My Shush. So now close this down, because we need to do something else here. You can do exit here, and then I think we need to head on to the updates. Sorry, App Store, because so as we mentioned, this is a computer that we just installed, and all of it is not yet ready. So you need to hit that, and that one, download and restore. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, see there, 1.3 gigabyte. So this will take quite some time to update. But what we have left to do now, let me just secure this. There we go. So we need to install that.
Yes.
Once that's done, we need to restart it once, just to see that everything works. It has been a few cases of not that working, and then we need to enable encryption on the disks as well, if someone loses their computer. So the interesting part will start now, because now we will start like a little factory here with the several computers being
like an
set up.
assembly line.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
So we have one started over here, so it will just, the work will like flow like this all the way around. And I'm thinking that maybe we could have 5 or 6 of them going at the same time. So last time, before your course, I spent 5 hours. Oh, sorry, there I am. I spent about 5 hours installing 33 computers. So, and each of them take about 40 minutes, depending on the network that you have, but about 40 minutes per computer.
Yeah.
So I think that's about it, actually, because there's no use sitting waiting for downloads here. We just wanted to show you what is installed on each computer.
Yeah. We're really excited to meet you all.
Yeah,
It's
this would be
exciting.
great. So there's one more. The teacher that you will meet is called Lars Gribbe, and he's not here today. But other than that, these are the people that you will run into. So yeah, let's do that, and we'll get going installing your computers.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.